You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio. Here at the BQN Network, we support and express solidarity for all of the writers and actors that have brought us the stories we passionately speak about. We continue to show love to all that are fighting the good fight for the WGA, SAG-AFTRA, and any upcoming strikes. We stand with you.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Thad, and joining me is my co-host, Chrissie. How are you today?
I'm all right. My allergies are really acting up. I've been asked to participate in this duel, and they
Barter by combat.
They pick the smallest person, and I really thought it was going to be easy, but then he turned into a big floofy bird, and I can't stop sneezing. How are you doing?
I'm trying to defuse a bomb, but it's asking for a lot of money, and I don't think I have it.
That might have been the most Ferengi thing we've ever seen. Beautifully done.
Like how the display had like the little Ferengi ears too. That was great.
Yes.
Also joining us today is Abby Sommer of First Flight Pod. Abby, how are you today?
Well, I'm good, but I'm kind of surrounded by carpet and wood paneling, and I'm thinking of going in a more minimalist direction. So we'll have to talk about that when we're done.
No, keep the carpet and wood paneling.
It's so bright.
Hilton in space.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on, as always. This is the kind of laughing and fun that I'm very much looking forward to having in our conversation tonight.
Me too.
Before we jump into our topic for the day, we would like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly our associate producers, Carl Wonders and Chrissie De Clerck-Szilagyi. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10 at patreon.com/BQN. And with a monthly subscription of just $5, you can join our meetings of the Hive Mind. Watch your Patreon messages for details. Do we have any news this week? The Funko Pops.
Oh, yes.
We're getting Lower Decks Funko Pops. They look awesome. I have ordered my very first Funko Pops ever. We're getting the Fab Four, Mariner, Tendi, Rutherford, and Boimler, as well as Badgie. I did not order the Badgie. The Badgie looks creepy to me. So the humanoid characters are standard Funko Pop style. So small body, big head, black eyes.
It works really well for Tendi.
It works.
Yes.
And I think it works for Lower Decks animated characters in general better than actual live action people. And that's part of why I've never really gotten into Funko Pops. I don't actually care for the look of them in a lot of times. But I think they look cool for Lower Decks, so I did order those. My problem with the Badgie one is it's proportionally Badgie. It is shaped just like Badgie, with Badgie's arms and Badgie's body in Badgie shape. But it has black eyes, black, soulless, dead, staring into you eyes. And I know.
If it was Gucci, maybe.
It probably still have the soulless eyes.
True.
Now, that said, I do hope these do well, because I want more. I want them to end up doing every single one-off Lower Decks character, because I want all of them.
Yeah.
I want a Miggly Mo. I want a Shax.
I want a Ta'ana. Think about that head shape. It'd be
God, that'd be great.
Palin, too.
Yes, absolutely. Matt the Whale.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
They could do one of the little scenes, so they're in Cetacean Ops.
Oh.
We gotta have Ransom. We gotta have them all
with a weight.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Billups would have the little mustache and the giant head.
Yes.
Anyway, these are available for pre-order now. You can order them on Amazon or other websites. You can order them on StarTrek.com, but don't, because they're a few dollars more expensive than every other website, as per usual. Some of the standard toy collectible websites have them for $12 or $12.99, which is, the quote unquote cheapest, but Amazon has them for $13.99. So if you are a Prime subscriber, that's probably your cheapest place to get them, because you don't have to pay shipping. But don't buy them for StarTrek.com. That's just, no, they're like $17 there. It's not worth it.
Only if they come wearing the little $60 shorts for free. Little Funko Pops in tiny little shorts.
Yeah.
And with popcorn bowls.
There you go.
Oh, yes, with Murph popcorn bowls.
And Starship is Landing t-shirts.
And personalized shot glasses. Those actually would make sense.
They gotta have one of those Phaser Me I'm Irish mugs from St. Patrick's Day too.
Yes, forgot about those.
That would be fun.
That might be worse than the Starship is Landing.
It wasn't good. Yeah. But anyway, they're cool. But what I would say, since I had never ordered Funko Pops before in my life, in my head, I assumed these things were like $30-$40 a pop. Like, because they're collectibles. And collectibles collectibles cost money, and like people spend extra money for collectibles. Plus there's the whole secondary market with Funko Pops. I think the bubble sort of burst at this point, but at one point there were people that like had houses full of these things that they were.
Yes.
It was the Beanie Babies of the 2010s.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
But no, apparently they're surprisingly affordable. So I just ordered all four of the main Lower Decks characters.
So these things came out. Jay and I were still working at the bookstore at the time. It was like, it's probably like 2006, 2007, somewhere in there. And the first ones that I remember getting into the bookstore, there were anime characters. So we didn't.
Oh, that would work well with the aesthetic.
Yeah. And then there was make your own pop. So there was one that was just a white piece of plastic that was a pop. And it came with all sorts of markers and you could draw on it and all of that. Huh. And we looked at these and went, what the hell is this? Nobody's going to buy these. Why are they doing this? And then within a year's time, they had come out with something that we wanted to buy. And we were like, oh, now we get it. Okay.
That's why.
Do you have all the Star Trek ones?
I have most of the Star Trek ones.
Oh, did you get that new one with Geordi from Arsenal of Freedom? That one actually looks kind of cool. He's in the captain's chair.
I have an original Geordi, but I'm hoping that somebody for Christmas might be getting me the Geordi from Arsenal of Freedom, because I have all sorts of strange Geordi moments, like as you can see from the Geordi mug I'm drinking from right now. I enjoy weird Geordi products. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, but that sounded really wrong.
Only because our generation first heard the word paraphernalia with drug, I think.
There.
They had drug paraphernalia. Because they drew a pot leaf.
Police captured a whole bunch of Geordi and Geordi paraphernalia.
There you go.
Exactly. It sounds devious when really this is just the weirdest looking mug you've ever seen.
That's great. I love it.
That is a strange one, yeah. But hey, works.
It does.
But anyway, the Funko Pops are awesome. Order them if you're so inclined.
Yeah, especially if you want more, because the more that there's pre-orders, much less sales, the more they'll go, oh, we should make more of these.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, and I would absolutely build a huge Lower Decks Funko Pop collection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shax. I'm imagining Shax right now. The head shape and with the soulless eyes, he would look a little creepy too.
Yeah, it would work, especially with the scar.
They should do a custom Naked Time Shax with Tana.
Oh my God. I was just about to say I had a terrible thought and that was it.
Oh my
God. Which then led me to, how do you make a pop with the Boimler?
The spread eagle Boimler pop? With an with
the bar.
With the black bar? Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
Well, this is why you two are podcast partners. And for the world out there who didn't know, because I think we said this before we were recording, they're also wearing the same pants tonight. Unintentionally. They're wearing the same pants.
We're wearing
separate pairs of the same
that are identical.
type of pants. Yes. Sorry, I should have been more careful with that. They are wearing
that'd be a hell of a trick across Michigan.
I mean, they are stretchy.
Much less anything else. Yeah. So, listeners, if you'd like to get yourself an awesome pair of Deep Space Nine pajama pants, they are on Amazon.
Yes. And I am very sad that they do not have a matching top, because I would absolutely wear both.
Oh, see, I never look for that. I'm always just like, I need pajama pants. But that would be awesome, because they're the satiny kind of material.
Mm-hmm.
That is like that. Yeah.
Abby, what did you think of this week's episode?
Oh, I loved this week's episode. I feel like a lot of the Trek that we got this calendar year was the last two episodes being like a good chunk that come together and give you a really nice story. And this was one of those. I was hoping after last week's that I really liked as well, that they stuck the landing. And I really feel like they did. I really liked this episode. I mean, of course, there's a few things that I'm like, well, I'm thinking about this and this. But overall, I did not feel sad that I had to watch this multiple times to talk to you guys about it. I found new things every time. I laughed every time. It played on your emotions. We had wonderful character beats. And we are just salivating for next season. So what else could you ask for the last episode of a season of a series that we all love?
Yeah, it was great.
I can't say more than that.
All right, then let's dive into it.
All right.
We got
that flashback.
Academy flashback. First off, in the wide shot that's introducing it, we can see Boothby tending to the
I know.
Yes,
Tiny little Boothby.
And I need to, as usual, give credit to Jörg Hillebrand. Jean Hajar, who was the fifth member of Nova Squadron, is seen at the very beginning walking with them. Then she stops, waves goodbye, and runs and dashes off, because she presumably had a class or something to get to.
No way. I have to go back and watch for that now.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. That's really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Amazingly, they got Shannon Phil, the actress who played Cedo Jaxa, to voice Cedo, which is most impressive because she hasn't acted since the 90s.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. Is it impressive, or did they, because I didn't know about that. So
yeah, she only had like a 3-year active period, and that happened to be when she was in Star Trek. But yeah, you can tell, and it seems it seems natural. And I loved, speaking of the voices in there, when you had Will Wheaton and he kind of aged his voice down a little, because if you listen, you can hear he adds a little squeak. Yes, yeah. It was a beautiful choice. I mean, it felt like you were right back in the first duty with all these characters. I loved it.
Oh yeah, it was great. I loved that Locarno calls Cedo by her given name. He calls her Jaxa. I thought that was nice. And how freaking adorable is first year cadet Mariner.
Oh, I know. And she had the little poof with her hair. It was just, yes. Yeah. Yes, it was wonderful. And I love the Xindi call out. So I will always be up for that. I appreciate that. It's nice to see her enthusiastic like that. Like it's something I feel like most people grow out of. Excuse me. Most people grow out of. Like, you don't bubble over with that, oh my goodness. Very often the older you get, you tamp it down, you control it, or you wait for someone who is just as enthused as you are. You don't just spill it to somebody like that.
Like when you're on a podcast and you find a pair of pajama pants, you just absolutely adore.
Exactly. You leave your spillage for the people who get it. No, it's perfect. It's nice to see that Mariner had that in her too. And I mean, I think it's something that we all need to be reminded of. It's one of the things I like about working with children, is that I get to see that more often, because kids do that all the time. They're just like, holy bananas, this is amazing. And yeah, there's just less of that the older you get and the more experiences you've already had.
To be fair, I have that experience watching Star Trek all the time, but
well, there are some places that are more reliable for giving you that feeling than others.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were saying before we got on here, I did not expect this ending to go the way it did. And I like that because as someone who watches a heap ton of Star Trek and has for a very long time, it's harder to surprise me. So I appreciate when it does. And that's when I get that, oh my God, did you see this? They did something I never expected. So yes, good point. This is where we come for that as grown-ups.
Yes, for sure.
So yes, it turns out Nick Locarno has gathered up lower deckers from all over the galaxy and is forming Nova Fleet.
Okay, the little insignia, and I know we've been talking about this for a while because they released that first part as like the clip after the last one. But oh my God, that was such a beautiful deep cut, and it just I love that we have a new symbol now. Like, and it's easy, and that it was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, and that it's based on the Colvard Starburst.
Starburst.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's why Mike McMahon is so good with all this. He brings all that little stuff around. It makes it feel more real, even in a silly, cartoony type show. It feels like a lived-in universe.
So, speaking of this being a silly, cartoony show, this entire plot doesn't make any rational sense.
Yeah, well.
All right.
Like, just all these lower officers joining together, and what's their end game? What are they going to do?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and especially like, well, I guess we know that they had been in contact with him, right? We do find that out.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah, so it's not like he just randomly picked them up, but still.
They're just gonna now live under this shield forever? Like, they could have done that without the intrigue. They could have just, gone off and settled a planet or something. Like, there was nothing stopped. Like, what is Locarno doing to give them freedom that they couldn't have already done?
It's a very fair point, and I thought that too. Like, especially when Boimler drops the whole, like, the Maquis would like a word about it, which was hilarious. But when you think about it, yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. It's a whole bunch of people that just agreed on one thing and they came together and did something about it, which is kind of what Locarno's trying to do, except his one thing is nobody gets to tell you what to do. And that's not a real good way to make a group. Exactly. Until I want to.
Yeah.
It's a very, if you wanted to go there, this is could be a bit of a commentary on modern politics and how people glom onto one issue and like collect people around them that are about the same issue, and they're all looking to one figure that they think is going to fix everything for them and will do crazy things like try to topple places of government and that kind of stuff.
It's an interesting parallel I hadn't thought about, but it is very timely, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going a little bit further than necessary there, but the whole thing of coming together for, I have one complaint, or I have complaints against, one or two groups of people, and we're going to all lie.
Putting your faith in someone who may not have your best interest at heart as well.
There you go. That's a good connection.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that obviously these people were willing to give up, to go against their captains, to have mutinies, to do all this. But when push came to shove, they just pieced out. They're like, no. So you get what you try to catch at this point, right? So he wasn't getting the finest of the best of the best, and that ended up biting him in the butt.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll hear about them again. I hope we do, because I hope we do too.
Because I know that they said that they were hiding, right? Like all of the people who mutinied. We don't know what happened to all the captains that were down on the planet. Like they just went back into service, I guess.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I assume they all were on the Klingon ship, and then they went to the Cerritos or wherever, and
it would be interesting to see some follow up later on, though, or to have some of those guys come back.
Yeah, it would have been cool if they had been part of the battle at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe when we're back on Orion next season, then we can see some of the the captain that they made friends with down on the planet knows Tendi even more already. She's got a different ally, someone she can rely on. That would be a cool thing to pull back around.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we're not going to Orion next season and T'Lyn is replacing Tendi.
Well,
I hope not.
No, I don't think so.
No,
Well, if you watched the Ready Room that was out for this episode this week, which I was really excited that there was one, and it was recorded a long time ago, so nobody broke any rules to do it.
In which Jerry O'Connell talks about how his pants almost fell off in Chicago. Yes, I did watch it.
Yes.
I have not watched it, but now I have to,
Which is good, yes. But they say everyone is back.
Yeah.
So that means that we get Tendi somewhere, somehow in there. And, I really hope that there's some either incredibly good plot reason for this, or the actress herself had some sort of incredible job that she needs a little bit of a step back to do whatever other project, but she doesn't want to drop this project. And so those are my hopes. And, I've got a whole year to stew on them.
And it might not be either. It might get resolved in the first episode or the second episode.
Or off screen.
Yeah. Oh my God,
that's a very lowered X.
The next season comes Tendi's back, and they just make an offhand reference to her being on Orion.
Like Shaq's coming back from the dead, Like, of course, you worked out that whole Orion thing. Yeah, wasn't that great?
It was so good.
And you move on.
Nobody needs to know.
Yeah, it'll just be just like when Crusher shows back up in season 3.
There you go. Or it'd be hilarious if that's the first episode, right? And then all season, everyone's like, oh my God, we never got Tendi's backstory. And then like the 9th or 10th episode, we get a flashback to how she solved everything on Orion, and Mike McMahon just laughs at us the whole time.
Yep.
Well, I assume Mike McMahon is laughing at us the whole time regardless, but yes.
I hope so. If he's doing it right, he should be. All right. So moving on, it's okay. When we're in this post flashback and we're talking back about Nova Fleet 2, I had to say that's why I had to bring up the wood paneling and carpeting.
Oh yes,
that line was the first line that I've watched this I think 4 times now before we came on. Every time I snort laugh at that line.
Yeah,
every time, and there's a bunch of them in this one, and I feel like that. This episode, we got so many Mariner like under the breaths. I'm not sure if they were scripted or ad-libbed. Perfect delivery lines, and like this is where it's starting because she's like, oh yeah, let's stick it to him. That's not ominous or creepy at all. And then she's got like the what up binars, and then later on she cuts off Licardo, and she's just like, nope. And there's just
first of all, you didn't graduate.
Yes, that too. Like, and when she's talking to the Genesis device, she's calling it GD, and she's just
I loved that.
I loved it too, but her offhand comments, like, I hope that this was just Tawny going off in the booth and throwing out some this and that, because it felt so natural, and the tones and the layers of just those little things. This Mariner sometimes can grate on me, as she's supposed to, but this episode, I was 100% behind her, and like I just felt all those moments were so beautifully done. And if they wrote them, fantastic. If she ad-libbed them, fantastic. I don't care. This episode was her episode to have the lines that make me snort laugh, and it started there, and I love it.
Yeah, it was
great. Oh yeah. Yeah. This guy sucks.
Yeah, so that is such an applicable quote now for so many parts of life.
Oh yes, I'm going to be using that many places. But what got me,
the subtitle screenshot of that will be fantastic to put around as a meme. This guy sucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to start using that on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So my immediate thought when that happened was I went back to Spock and Unification. When it starts out and you think it's the recorded Spock, and then it turns out he tells them everything that's going on before they cut it off. And I was like, nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And, it's subtle when they do little things like that, but once you see it, you don't ever unsee it. And you know what else was great about that scene too is that they've got the autofocus of the camera, like she's talking into the camera and it's focused on Locarno, but like it's trying to focus on her and she keeps moving and getting closer. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's such a zoom problem. It's so funny. And it's so little and it's 100% visual, but it's so good.
I also like right before he starts the transmission, he asks Mariner how he looks, and she says confident, but like in a creepy way. And he responds, perfect. That's what I'm going for.
I know.
You achieved it.
And of course, we got the line that we knew would have to come at some point when we knew Nick Locarno was in here. When Rutherford turns to Boiler and says, he looks like Tom Paris. And then Boiler's like, I don't see it. He's like, they have the same face.
Yeah. And the way that Rutherford says that, they have the same face. Like, he puts all that feeling into it. So funny. So funny.
Beautiful. I have new headcanon now. My headcanon is that Admiral Paris got around a bit.
That would explain why there was a photo of Nick Locarno on his desk in Pathfinder.
That would.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Interesting. That's funny.
But also, dang, does that mean that recklessly causing shuttle accidents runs in the Paris family?
Ooh, not good.
Oh. And didn't that run? That was what killed Janeway's father, wasn't it? Those salamanders better be careful.
Well, I think they're okay because they were abandoned on that planet without any ship to use.
That's true.
Another laugh I got in that scene is when they're flipping through all the lower deckers who are doing this transmission, and you're seeing Guji and Petra Aberdeen, which I like. They go to the Temerian vessel, and there's got a Temerian towel guy.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
I like that we see an Andorian ship too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a super fun little montage there, but I was just like, oh man, that towel guy turns up in all sorts of lower decks places. I appreciate that. I
can't believe I didn't think of this before, but the way you said it made me think of, did either of you watch Kids in the Hall in the 90s?
No.
Here and there.
There was a guy that would just randomly show up, and he just would wear a towel. And it was just this running, and I can't remember what his name was, but it was, yeah.
Towel guy?
I think it was more randomly artistic than that. I have to look it up. That's okay.
So anyway. He's covered this system in his indestructible Trinar shield.
Which looks like a Q shield.
Yes, it does look like a Q shield from Encounter of Farpoint.
Farpoint. I thought the same thing.
And I when Mariner's like, oh, it's called a Trinar because there's 3 binars. Wait, can you have 3 binars?
Yes. Well, I've been wondering that since we saw them in that very first episode that they got transported and fake blown up. What happened to the 4th one? I mean, I'm assuming there was a 4th one, or they have some sort of weird 3rd anomaly, and is that why they
binar thruple?
Oh, maybe. Are they attracted to Locarno because they are the odd ones on their world?
Or are they attracted to Locarno because they need a 4th?
I suppose so.
That was their nefarious plan. It never came to fruition. I think there was an odd binar the whole time. Yes. Even when we see them on the ship. So, okay. So, yeah. Yeah,
and I wondered about it when we first saw it on the ship. I wondered about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense that you would have an odd number of binars. But that said, we don't necessarily know in Alpha canon that binars have to be in pairs.
That's true.
Fleshed out in the novels for sure.
Yeah.
I particularly recall the Starfleet Corps of Engineers novels. There was a binar who lost their other binar, and that was a whole story about them dealing with that and trying to continue on without having another, and that was a thing. But I don't think in 110 whatever. I don't.
11001001.
Thank you. Knew I could count on you guys. Nice. I don't know that they established that binars always are in pairs.
They're born singly.
Yeah.
They're born singly, and we know that from Enterprise, from Regeneration, they talk about Dr. Phlox was observed a Bynarr. I just recorded that one for our pod and coming out in a couple weeks. Anyone who's interested, First Flight pod covering Regeneration. But they talk about the Bynarrs in there and watching the procedure where they took out part of their brain and put in a processor, and it was a singular Bynarr. So they are born singular. I don't know if maybe when they get their processor, they get a pair. Like, it's interesting. I like when Star Trek makes me think about other races and other types of societies and how they could be structured differently and what would be the norm and all that. And we're never going to get as much of it as we want because they're not they're not fake history shows, where they're not going to go into the societal
History
things.
Channel for that.
Exactly. So I'm not thinking about the structures and stuff. But yeah, I think it would be interesting to see more Bynarrs. And, I keep throwing out there, well, maybe when they do the Starfleet Academy show, there could be, this or that. I would love to see some Bynarrs in the Academy show in the future. Like, how cool would that be? Because what
how
must
would the burn
their
have
society
affected
be
them?
now?
Oh, yeah.
How would the burn have affected them? How would programmable matter have affected them? Like, there's so many interesting things to think about.
Maybe we'll get a pair of Bynarr assassins in Section 31.
Ooh, that would be crazy. That could be fun. And they're short, so they fit in tiny spaces.
Exactly.
You didn't have to kill him. Why'd you kill him? He might have said no.
Oh, my face is gonna hurt after this tonight.
Excuse me.
Also, now I want to watch Regeneration, so thanks for that, Abby.
Yeah, I got to do that again.
I always want to watch Regeneration. It's a really good one. I mean, there's a lot to say about some of the continuity issues, but it's a fun watch.
There's a conspiracy theory that Regeneration establishes that everything that happens in Enterprise is an alternate universe created by First Contact, and that everything in Star Trek since First Contact is actually an alternate universe.
That's a theory.
Half of DS9 and most of Voyager too.
Yes.
We just didn't know.
Nobody's got time for that.
No. Although 100 and some odd novels have time for that.
I suppose.
Technically speaking.
I suppose. But anyways, all right. So now that we have written the miniseries Star Trek Bynarrs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex Kurtzman, if you're listening, hire us.
Please.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just come spitball your writer's room and we'll take, very little money and very small credits and just be happy.
And we'll also consult on merchandising.
I would also
yes,
like to have, cameo appearances on the shows.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't hurt. Definitely.
I would like them to make me a uniform that would fit properly. I'll take that. How's that?
Yeah.
That's why I buy so many t-shirts, which I have been told by many people is much cheaper than buying uniforms, but however.
It is.
Yeah.
I know, but it's
as
not
someone who buys a lot of both, I can assure you it is.
All right, so they're gonna go rescue Mariner, right?
Excuse me.
But they don't have the approval of Starfleet. And I just love that we just see Guji floating around the ship from time to time.
He's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how you have an admiral consulting with the parents of the person who has disappeared, who's been kidnapped, right?
Yeah.
Like, the answer to why should the Cerritos not be involved in this is because you cannot separate yourself from this and deal with it logically without emotional impact.
You're too close.
You don't want to mess up things with the, whichever groups, Romulans and Klingons and all that. But, that's fine.
Well, I do appreciate that we saw both of her parents being consulted. I like that they bring in Dad when something really important is happening with Mariner. They do bring her father in, and he is a parent who's there. And I appreciate that. I like seeing that they have that family dynamic that keeps coming back and forth. And I like that you can see that her dad gets just as frustrated as she does sometimes. And he does the same kind of growl that she does. And I wonder if it's the two voice actors playing that up now that they've had enough scenes where they can see that that's something in common. I hope so too, because it's a really nice little bit of continuity in there. And I really like that as someone who's watched a lot of Lower Decks in the past couple months. Like I rewatched the entire thing a couple times because I did that at the end of the summer. Like, it happens. They're easy. But I like that we've seen that not only Mariner has had a really nice 4-season arc, but so has Captain Freeman. And between them, their relationship together has had a really nice arc so far. And you see that when she sees her on the bridge with Locarno and she's like upset, but then she's like, yeah, that's my girl. And then she's going like that. You see that this is truly a relationship that it has not just respect now, but that love woven into it for the bigger world to see. It's not just a private thing anymore. She's proud of her in public. She's acknowledging it in public, and it makes a big difference. This is truly her family rescuing her real family and her Cerritos family, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and then how everybody we have a Vulcan saying "Cerritos strong." That was a nice little beautiful touch. I am so happy with how T'Lyn has.
So yeah, I liked that, but I also kind of wish we had turned that into a Star Trek Insurrection reference, especially when, like, if she had said, I believe I speak from everyone here if I say to hell with our orders. I think that would also have been cool.
She could have said it first and then said Cerritos strong, and it would have been perfect.
Or pulled a Star Trek Undiscovered Country and said, if I were human, I believe my response to Starfleet would
go
be
to hell.
If
I were human. Yeah, I was expecting that at the end, actually, when she said, if you're going to be piratey, in the spirit of being a pirate. So I guess it's an homage.
Speaking of homages, I was half expecting, based on all the Wrath of Khan imagery, I was half expecting Locarno to say, from hell's heart I stab at thee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's not that well-educated.
He's not the one pulling out Shakespeare on the Lower Decks.
Let me say this, not because he's well-educated in some things. He doesn't have the classical literary training. Let's say that, because I shouldn't be disparaging of that.
He didn't graduate.
That's true.
Can we talk about how lax Starfleet voice recognition security is? That apparently,
no kidding,
Mariner still thought she was Freeman.
I like that.
I love that she has her code. Of course she has her code. Like, nobody's surprised by that one. And I love that she was surprised that it actually worked. Like, that was funny too. Like, oh, all right, look at that.
Well, you think about it, what did she use it for before? Maybe to override somebody on the holodeck for, to get an hour she wanted. I'm sure she used
better
it for,
replicators.
Like, things here and there. Yeah. Yeah. But then you're also on another ship, too.
Her eyes go wide when it works.
Oh, that was beautifully done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love that there's a seatbelt on the ship that she uses to buckle in the Genesis.
And I know.
And
the way she's controlling it with the
joysticks. Yeah.
So I will say this also is this bridge set is a reference, because this bridge set is the Battle Bridge set / the Enterprise A bridge / all the other things that it was. But it is, they're redressing the set for Lower Decks, and it's amazing.
I know. That's the attention to detail that we were talking about, that they're so good at. Like, if you don't get it, it doesn't matter because it's beautiful. But if you do get it, it's beautiful and your heart gets full. And that's just so cool and subtle. Like, there's so many subtle times they do stuff like that. And it's just beautiful to see Star Trek being made by people who love Star Trek so much.
So the ship that Mariner steals is Saber Runner class, which is new. It is shaped like the Steam Runner class, but it's the size of a Saber class.
Interesting.
And that's because apparently Mike McMahon really likes the look of the Steamrunner class, but they needed a smaller ship for this thing, and it's named the USS Pissarro, which is after one of the people who worked for Eagle Moss designing the models.
Oh,
that's cool.
That's sweet.
Unfortunately, is no longer with us. But
that's
double sweet. What a way to be memorialized.
Yeah.
And I hope whenever the next version of Eagle Moss happens, we get a little model. That would be the best.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
If this was an unexpected or a disease-based thing, if all of the proceeds went to that charity for whatever that was, that'd be
cool.
Somebody should do that. Somebody should do that. Even if it's not, somebody should, I don't know.
Ben Robinson, are you listening?
Crowdfund that.
Yeah. So he actually apparently he created the Steamrunner CG model, the Steamrunner model. So that's Fabio Pissarro was his name.
Well, thank you for that, Fabio, and extending sympathies to the family. How cool he is a ship now.
Yeah.
But I do think I have always thought the Steamrunner class looked really cool. Ever since it first appeared in First Contact, it's a cool looking ship.
It is a cool looking ship. All right, so are we ready to fluff our down? I believe that's what's up next, right? This is why this episode is so good. Like, I was calling out Mariner for having fabulous lines, but this is also going to be something that is quoted and memed and gift all around, because "fluff your down" is a wonderful call out, and I can't wait to see somebody who puts that into cosplay form, because somebody's going to. Somebody's going to be walking around as Poofy Miglimo, and it's going to be amazing, and they're going to be so hot and shed feathers everywhere, and it's going to be great.
And that's going to be exactly what was intended, to shed feathers everywhere. Yep. Oh my God, that's
absolutely. In fact, they probably will have like a bag inside the costume, so they can, occasionally just poof, or even for the costume contest, they'll have it inside, and then they'll fluff you down.
Oh yeah,
somebody out there, whether it's on the cruise or in San Francisco or at STLV next year, please do this, and I want video. Oh
yeah. Oh yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Nice. So, but how fun is it that another part of this season has come back around to help us out here? We are back on Orion. We are back with D'Erica, who has really stepped into her new role, I must say. Like, she is ready, and that is cool to see. And then to see the dynamic between the sisters and the barter by combat, of course.
Barter by combat, naturally.
I mean, there's a new one, and I love when you get to see who they're looking for, the Cerritos champions, and they're going down the line, and you've got all of them there, and you've got Ransom, and he's huge, and Shax is literally drooling.
Shax is frothing at the mouth. Yeah,
exactly. He's foaming. He's so ready. And then you have Kayshawn takes out his little knife and he's sharpening it. And he's got the little sharpener in his little sash. And then there's Dr. Miglimo popping seeds, and he chokes on him when he gets called out. Like, it's so perfectly, like, those are character snapshots right there. You don't need any. If you've never seen Lower Decks before, you kind of know who these people are right there. And it's just beautiful.
And you see Captain Freeman just face palming when she says that too.
Yep. It's now another classic Star Trek facepalm for sure.
I know it's all plot points and everything, but I feel like there's some point when he was putting on the gladiator outfit that Tendi could have been like, "Hey, so this is why I called on you to do this."
Yeah.
Rather than tell him in the middle. Yeah.
Especially since he's technically still her mentor, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, if we haven't seen that end, so
that's true.
You'd think they'd be tight enough, but
he also thinks she's in love with him.
Oh, that's right.
That is true. Maybe that's why she didn't want to go when he was changing.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
But I'm sorry, the gladiator outfit, that would also make... I just want like a heap ton of Miglimos to start cosplaying, because the ones I've seen have been so well done. And now you can have gladiator. You can have the down fluffed, because you can't see the gladiator as much when he's fluffy. Like, this could be this could be an entire section of cosplay, just Miglimo's.
All this was really missing was the Amok Time music.
Yeah, actually, now that you say that, I'm surprised it wasn't used.
I'm sure it was a rights thing.
No, because they used it in Strange New Worlds.
They did. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they just didn't want to put too fine a point on it, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
And can I just comment about how Orion names are also absolutely flippin' hilarious? But like I'm waiting for us to get like Britney or Baritney and and Ina, and you're just, they're so funny. They're so funny. And to hear them like when when you've got Rutherford going, no can do, tendy to, and being really like just kind of flippant about it, and then Captain Freeman on the other side going, okay, Mistress Erica, we're very sorry. And like those two different versions of the same Orion names are great. They are great in whatever way they get them. I hope we spend more time on Orion, at least at some point next season, so that we can just hear more Orion names.
Yes.
So from now on, I am Thad.
Yes, you are. And you know what? As someone who teaches onset rhyme in phonics, that would be really helpful for young children to understand the break in those sounds. So not the worst thing.
It's better than Tahad for sure.
Yes. Yeah. I have a cousin who's having a baby, and it's become a bit of a joke in the family because they had a spreadsheet with all the potential names, and then they were like on their phones, and then as they discussed it, they'd move them up and down, and this was like an ongoing, we all heard about it, and her shower was over the weekend, and I'm like, I wish she watched Lower Decks.
You would add Beth.
I leaned over to my sister, and I'm like, we should tell her she should name her kid Beth. And Nikki goes, she wouldn't know what you're talking about. Like, but you do, and that's what matters. So good. Where I got it out of my system now. It's fine.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, and it's just when I work in an area where there are a lot of names that actually have apostrophes and double capitals in them, right?
Yeah.
Like there's cultures where this is the way you name kids. And like, I think that's cool that Orions do it too, just in a different way. It seems both normal and alien at the same time. And that's hard to do. But I have been thinking a lot lately about how precise Star Trek language is. It's very deliberate. It's very constructed, and like you hear about how they had to be word perfect to the script, and you think about how we spell things and all that. It's well done for a reason, and this is another edition that I really like.
Yeah. Yeah. So they get the ship, which doesn't work. Classic.
That was
blunder.
Classic Orion.
Yeah. Classic blunder. Oh, when you were talking about, sorry, this literally just popped in my head. Barter by combat. I was thinking the Ferengi equivalent of that would be combat by barter. Just not really, just like it just popped in my head randomly as we were trying to move on to a different topic, but that's all right.
That's funny. Well, and I also, if we're talking Ferengi, I don't have a ton to say about Mariner hiding in the debris, but I love how she she used Starfleet things to help herself. Like she cycled the airlock to get rid of people, and then she coolant vents and ices over the Ferengi. Like, this is a smart woman who knows how to use Starfleet tech in out of the box ways, and that's why she's a good officer.
Yep. Even the psychological trying to turn them against. Yeah. I like when she says the Romulans about, you need a human to facilitate your scheming. No, he's one part of our 13-dimensional chess.
That was a great line too. That was funny.
Oh yeah.
Well, and we can't skip over as they are trying to fix the ship, that we get twin twains again.
Yes.
So how did we feel about the twin twains this time?
I loved it. I always love the twin twains.
I loved that Billups got all excited because he thought he was going to see a mind melt.
That was also good.
That was really funny.
Become so standard that it's just an expectation. And then, you see that go from Enterprise to here, and you're like, yep, that's an arc. But yeah, that was fun. It was completely random. I like the fact that Freeman's like, why does this work? Why? Because it needed that. Because otherwise, you're like, no, why does this work?
Well, and I loved Lynn's answer.
100%.
I love at the end that they're still angry at each other because they only like each other when they're twaining.
Only when we're twaining.
That's funny too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really liked to Lynn how she said illogical tactics can sometimes lead to logical solutions. Like that works for this plot, and it works for Mariner over in her plot as well. So it's almost like they're like, hey, this is the lesson of the episode right here. And it's cool how they drop it in there. And the first episode with the twin twains, which I always feel like I'm talking like Bugs Bunny when I say it. Exactly. I thought, oh, this is funny, and I get it and I like it, but it's not my favorite. I really like it more now that it came back later. Like I'm loving that this episode had callbacks to pretty much everything else, all those little crumbs, and I cannot wait to rewatch this whole season knowing the end now, which I have not done yet. But I mean, I've been watching it multiple times as we go through, but now to watch it as that chunk, I think there's going to be so much more that we pick up on. And the fact that there's the same background characters in the Twain scenes all the time. And in this one, you see them there too. That's just beautiful. That's just artistic. And that's really fun. So I appreciated that. And I have to say that one of the things that I think was the best about this entire Twain thing was the fact that Freeman did the best Twain. Like, I really think her Twain was better than everybody else's. When she threw herself into it, she had the best accent. She had the funniest lines. Like, she was into it, and that's unexpected.
From South Carolina. This is a Southern accent.
Yeah. Why am I wearing this hair hat?
What does "I'll be happier than a milkman's horse" mean?
I wondered that myself, right? And the logical answer to that is the cart gets lighter the further you go on the route. Okay. So that was what popped in my head. But I also had that question, and then
I made a really deep, probably completely not accurate cut because one of the TNG novels that came out in the 90s, I cannot remember what the name of it is right now. It's literally sitting downstairs in my to read pile to read again. It had Beverly on the front dressed up in like this Renaissance-y looking thing, and it was all about another like Temerian type race. They spoke in metaphors and weird sayings, and it was another one of those like kind of meta, really deep thought thinking novels. It was not a great story. There were some weird princes, like they all dressed in weird costumes. But I remember going through and like highlighting all the weird phrases that they came through, and one of them was a frosted mirror reflects only grapefruit. And I'm serious, it became a running joke with my friend and I because it was so weird, and we're like, what does that mean? And I kind of thought that this was Mike McMahon's way of throwing out a joke to say, like, sometimes you get these references in Star Trek and then people start saying them, but they mean absolutely nothing. They're just weird. And so I went directly to the frosted mirror reflects only grapefruit.
I just Googled that phrase and got nothing.
I'm sure. I will take a picture of it in the book later tonight.
Oh, I believe you.
To you guys. Oh man.
Okay, well, all right. Happier than a milkman's horse. The second thing that comes up is the transcript for this episode.
Right. So
yeah. First thing that comes up is something about the history of Nebraska. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I'm going to go with the frosted mirror reflects only grapefruit answer.
So,
then.
I mean, the only other thing I can think, which is less charitable, I should say, as it's losing, it's the cart's getting lighter. It's the thought that, well, there's the stereotype that the milkman was out, having fun with various housewives, so the horse would just be out in the pasture eating, eating while
just
the
hanging
Muckman
out,
is having
waiting.
his fun.
Yeah.
I think we have way overthought this.
Yeah, I think so. But I do like you are a heaping helping of country fried intellect, my genteel friend.
That's one I got to remember.
One of the things about this episode, how many times have we said already that it is so quotable?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are so many moments of this episode that people are going to be saying for so long, and so many posting all over the place, and because it is just truly full of these wonderful lines.
I liked computer. What the hell?
I have a feeling that most AI devices right now would answer that with something pretty funny or really scary.
I don't want to think about that one.
All right, so the rescue.
Yeah.
All right, so
Never seen anybody use a captain's yacht.
I know, isn't that, see?
I do declare.
Another one. It's another wonderful line. And people are gonna say that, and it's just so good. It's just so good. And I really liked watching Boimler be in command, like to hear the change in his voice. He was sitting like Riker, like he had the presence to like agree to the admiral, and then tell him, nope, sorry, after this. Like this was a 4-season arc for Boimler right here, this moment. And when Tendi like whispered to him, nice captain voice, and he was like, thanks, and it was regular Boimler voice, it was just, those are the subtleties of why these characters are so believable, because it's little things like that. And my heart was so happy for him. And then later on, when they're just all razzing him because he's talking about how Ransom really liked his command style, and they're like, oh, this didn't go to your head at all. And of course it did. This is his dream. And they're only teasing him about it because they know he can take it and he loves it. And that's heartwarming too.
Yeah, he was very much channeling Bucephalus Dagger here.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Very nice callback there.
I love that we have another rogue planet created by a Genesis device.
This one's apparently stable.
Well, they must have figured out how to do something other than protomatter, I guess.
So I guess it wasn't the only way.
Well, it was the only way to solve certain problems in the amount of time that David Marcus cared to spend on it, I think, was the end of the rest of that sentence. Yeah.
Fair.
Someone got a bit impatient, but
well, but speaking of that device, I think it's absolutely hilarious. We talked about how there was a paywall.
Oh yeah,
hilarious. And then how Mariner 2, when it's talking to her and she's like, Ferengi bomb with a Ferengi voice, didn't expect it, but I like it. Like, that's so Mariner right there too, because we know that she has some affinity with the Ferengis, and she doesn't have the immediate negative feelings of other people. And I wonder if she knew there was a paywall and used that against Locarno, or if it just happened to be a lucky accident. Yeah,
that's possible.
Although she didn't want him dead.
No,
I thought it was,
and that was
so
nice
Star Trek of her. Yeah,
yes.
That was
pressed against the window, hoping until the last second that he would change his mind and they could save him. That reminded me of an Enterprise when they're going to Kaminar, and Archer's trying to save the pilot as they're crashing, and he's like giving him every second, almost loses his own life trying to get this guy one more second to say goodbye. And I just reviewed that one on my pod, and it really made me think in this moment, because it's the same kind of like arm outreach, and how many times have we seen it? And there's a trope that never gets old because it pulls at your heart every time.
Yeah. It goes along with the whole idea of Starfleet Federation doesn't have capital punishment, and they don't have cruel punishments, and there's a genuine belief that even the worst criminals can be rehabilitated.
Yeah.
And so that's just it is a beautiful example of the values that these people are supposed to have. So
yep, for sure.
I will say it is a steep Ferengi paywall on that bomb too. 2
bars. It is.
It would be.
Yeah, not 2 slips. Yeah.
I mean,
you got to pay more to disarm that bomb than you do to pay the machine that lets you pay to use the toilet.
Well, disarming a bomb is generally going to be more urgent than getting at a toilet. Generally, I'm not going to say always, but
I don't know. I've urgently needed to get to a toilet a time or two in my life.
I said generally, 100%.
Okay, but then it's definitely more frequent, right?
Yes.
I do go to the I do use the toilet more often than a disarm a bomb. This is true.
So at
it evens out.
Hope. Yeah, I suppose
That'd be a hell of a life.
Anyways, yes, it would.
That sounds like $1 million butt question.
Oh,
it's $1 million, but you have to disarm a bomb every time you need to pee.
No. Man, I would really get dehydrated pretty quick.
Probably. Yes, that's what I was just thinking. I'd never drink.
I would no longer be drinking the appropriate amount of water in a day.
Oh, no, I would just set up a catheter.
Well,
and would you be continuously peeing and continuously having to disarm bombs?
Or would you never have to disarm a bomb?
I don't know. As someone who's been catheterized during, for multiple surgeries and birthings, it's not a never kind of thing. Your body's continuously processing.
No. What I'm thinking, I don't know that it counts as technically having to pee. It's a different thing.
Okay, well, maybe.
And see, this is
Let's
why
hope we never have to decide this.
Yeah. Have you guys not seen this game?
No.
Oh, gods. Yeah. Look it up. There's a lot of really funny Rooster Teeth bits, and then they turned it into a game you could buy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway. I've got a book of those I use with little kids, but they're not nearly that bad.
Would you rather?
Yes, the would you rather.
Yes, the would. Yeah. This is same idea.
All right. Well, speaking of drinking things, right?
Yeah.
They go drinking again at the end, which is so perfect. Yep. And
Lynn's gonna stay and become science besties.
Yeah.
Don't say it if you don't mean it. Why would I say anything I don't mean?
I see another great line from this episode. It is just full of things we're going to quote forever.
But it is not logical for her to ignore the message from the captain.
Well, it's not illogical to send a voicemail and call him back later.
Mm.
See, that's what I thought too. I thought that she was being present where she was and finding that more important, and that she would, get him back later.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean,
but I really liked that we had that moment of all of them together, and we all knew Tendi was going. Like she bartered herself earlier. This is not a surprise. They knew.
Mariner didn't know, but yes.
Oh,
well, yeah.
True. But I really liked when they welcomed her back, and they had those few moments of actually being serious friends and saying, we were worried about you, and I didn't almost get blown up by a Genesis device for it to get hugged to death. They had serious moments, and then she's like, "Let's go get drunk," and Boimler's like, "Oh, thank God, there you are." You have people like that. You have people that you go through stuff with, and you need to do the real check-in of how bad was this? Are you good? Are we good? What do you need? And then, okay, now let's just go and be. And those are the people who are your people when you can do both. Yeah. And that was really nice to see that get acknowledged here. It wasn't just, hey, let's go get drunk. They had that moment of connection. And that's why Lower Decks is so good, because it has all that humor and those all these lines, but it has that heart every single time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Rutherford's sad okie dokie.
Oh, that's exactly what my notes say. And his little frown when they walk away at the end, and he's trying to put on a brave face, and there's 3 frames of it just drooping. Your heart breaks.
Yeah. So I'm thinking next season we're gonna have a T'Lyn and Rutherford go rescue Tendi episode, or go convince her to come back, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that I could see.
Yeah, science bestie and, whatever
platonic
the hell the other
bestie.
two are. Yeah.
that could be really interesting. And here's the other thing I wanted to say about this last bit. First of all, how unbelievably Star Trek was it for her to be standing by the window watching that warp off, and then you see it But Tendi is badass. Like, we talk about Mariner being badass, but Tendi is badass and in a different way. And she has found her spine. She has found her voice. She has found herself this season. And I wonder to myself, was she playing 12 or 13 dimensional chess with her sister? What's going on? Why did she agree to this? This was too easy. This was too obvious. She put on her Mistress of the Winter Constellations face for that last bit. She psyched herself up. She's telling herself she's got this. Like, she's not giving in. She's just taking a different path than what was expected. And I'm ready to see this. I want to see this. I love Tendi. Like, yeah. I want them to have another moment like they had in the caves this season and had T'Lyn in. I want them to become a 5-some. Like, this is my beginning of the school year family now. So yeah, I think we're there too. And
I think so too. Yeah.
I hope she's back as quickly as Una was back on Strange New Worlds.
Or even back
quicker.
At the very beginning. Yeah. It wouldn't be bad to see a parallel story for a couple episodes.
Yeah, like they did with Boimler on the Titan.
Yeah, we'd still be seeing what was going on, and but we wouldn't be missing out on Tendi. So I don't know. That would be good.
Yeah. So I want to cut back a little bit and talk about the final fight with Locarno again for a sec.
Oh yeah.
We talked about this before the podcast started, but we didn't really talk about it in the podcast. There's tons of Wrath of Khan imagery. Obviously with the Genesis device, the nebula. There's that great shot of the ship flying over the other ship. Oh, it's so good. But when Locarno beams over to the ship and is fighting Mariner, she says, "Deep down, you're not a murderer." And he responds, "I'm sorry, but I really am." Which is some not weird, but it's some interesting symmetry with the last episode of last season when
Admiral Buenamigo says something similar.
Yes, yeah. Buenamigo. Because Freeman confronts Buenamigo and says, "I thought you were better than this." And he says, "I'm sorry, but I'm really not."
Yeah.
I thought
that was an interesting little symmetry there.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And what I thought was interesting with how he phrased that is that him finally admitting that he caused his friend's death at the very end? Like, is saying, yeah, I am a murderer and I've been pushing back against it, but right now, before we blow up or whatever happens, I really am. I am a murderer. I know you know that. I'm acknowledging it to you. Like, that could be way deeper than it reads as. Or he could just be a villain. I don't
think so, because the line immediately after that is, "My perfect life was taken from me and now I'm getting it back."
Yeah. I mean, I think you could go either way with it.
Yeah. We can certainly call him a murderer for what happened with
Josh Albert.
Josh. Thank you. I was like, the kid whose name I really shouldn't forget. We could call him a murder for what happened with Josh Albert, but
I wouldn't call it murder. I would call it manslaughter, but not murder.
But he was
reckless
about
endangerment and manslaughter.
Yeah. Okay. So, but he was about to and did shoot her.
Yeah.
So, and we don't know if that was set to stun or kill. So it's possible that he's reconciling that in his head as he's got a gun trained on somebody, Well, I guess I'm already responsible for one death, whether I think it was a murder or not. Or it could just be, I'm going to disagree with everything that everybody says, which is a very, very much in character for him.
That's also very true.
Yeah, like Donna says, he's kind of an asshole.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, there you go. He is.
And it's more of that, the differentiation between him and Tom Paris that we were talking about last week. The difference between having remorse over what happened and not.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, and I heard Robert Duncan McNeil, he was talking on his last episode of Delta Flyers about how fun it was for him to get to play a villain. To lean into that part, because he was almost always been cast as the nice guy or the friend or the reliable one, and to be able to really play into that. He's like, it was fun, and you get to be in the booth and try different things, and that was really neat to hear too, that he's really differentiating them as well, even though they have exactly the same face.
Yeah. They're like exactly the same. I like that he's able to talk about that even though the strike was on, because it was voice work.
Correct.
That works out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's nice that they get some time to be featured more too, because the voice work people never get enough credit for the beautiful things they do.
No, they don't. They really don't.
Did either of you catch the Calvin and Hobbes reference at the end?
No.
No.
All right. At the end, when Freeman is talking to, I do not recall the bald admiral, whose name I don't recall.
Censors.
Yes, the censors. Yeah, yes.
The Ferengi also said censors, by the way. Did you catch that? Yeah.
Yeah. The guy that the Ferengi were taking to the cleaners.
Yeah.
But he can dance.
Yeah. He's talking about the planet that the Genesis device created. And he says, we're calling it Locarno because its atoms were included in the transmogrification of the nebula. Transmogrification is not a real word.
Oh,
The only place I have ever seen that used before is in Calvin and Hobbes, when he was pretending that he had a transmogrifier, which was when he was making one of his many things. The box is something else, and it was changing things into other things.
That's cool. That is cool. Really, really cool. Oh, I'm going to tell that to my father, and it's going to make him really happy.
Okay, it is a word. English dramatist Aphra Bain's 1671 comic play The Amorous Prince features an early example of the word, and about a century later, Scottish poet Robert Burns, who's a little more famous, used it in a poem. And then after that, and in the late 20th century, cartoonist Bill Watterson. So it's like, yes, it could be a Robbie Burns reference, but I think it's a Calvin and Hobbes reference.
It might have just been somebody being like, I need a big word for this, and went to the thesaurus. You never know.
Well, I can bring us back if you want. I got one more little bit. So, no, one of the things that I really liked about this episode at the very end too was I really liked the last piece of music that played over the end credits, and they had that whole star field behind it. I mean, this was really good. First of all, I absolutely adore Star Trek music. I own pretty much all of it, I think, that I know exists out there. I want this soundtrack, and if this is not on the next Lower Decks soundtrack, which should drop really soon, guys, hopefully, come on out there, I'm putting it in the ethos. I want this, and I want this piece to be called Mistress of the Winter Constellations. Like, how perfect would that be, right? Yeah. That was not my idea. That came all from Chris. He was like, that's what it needs to be called. And I totally agree with him. Like, because this is a gorgeous piece of music. It's like having it to be continued without having it to be continued, because it's got that feeling of you need to know what's happening next. Something is coming and you don't know what it is, and we're going to leave it there for a while. And it's just really beautiful. And I appreciate the fact that Paramount Plus, at least when I watched it, didn't pop up the little like box that shrinks everything and shows you something else right away. They let it go for a while. So you heard the music, you saw the beautifulness, and you got to see the names of all these people who also work really hard on the show that we don't think about as much. And I always watch the credits. Like, this is something that was drilled into me since I was a little kid. My dad, when we went to see movies, we stayed until the end. He said, everybody whose name is up there worked on this, and they deserve for you to see their name too, because they worked on this. And I really like that we saw the credits. We really saw them, we heard them, and we got to recognize those people who helped make this a great season of Lower Decks.
Yep. Yeah, I watched through all the credits and then had to stop it when Paramount Plus started showing me an episode of season 2 of Picard, which it has done every single time I watch any Star Trek. It wants me to then watch an episode of season 2 of Picard, and I think they're trolling me. I honestly do.
Mine finally jumped away from those old scientists. Finally. And now, because I showed it in a class, it's trying to get me to watch The Elysian Kingdom.
Mine keeps wanting me to go and start Hegemony. And I was like, no. That's not one you just like pop on. That's one you have to like be ready for. And I think it's because I have watched the episode before it so many times with Subspace with my girls that it just assumes that eventually I'm going to want to see the next one.
I have in fact watched Subspace Rhapsody a lot of times. I don't even know how many at this point.
It's been at least once a week since it's been on, and every time I drive my girls around, we're either listening to like our science podcast that we do, or we're singing along to Subspace Rhapsody. Like my girls sing it all the time. Like they were playing around in the basement with one of those microphones the other day, singing Private Conversation, and they know all the words, and it makes me stupid happy because it's that good. And yeah, we have girls' nights. My husband's out or whatever. And they ask me to play it. They're like, can we watch that singing Star Trek again? Sure can. Can.
Oh, I love it. So one thing that longtime listeners might have noticed, if you have quite the ear for it, is that we've yet to make a Laura Ingalls Wilder reference this episode with Abby on. Because there are none.
I was going to say, are you now going to tie this in?
No. Okay. I did some Googling because we were talking about this ahead of time. And the closest
I've been trying for days to come up with something.
Yeah. So the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum in Pepin, Wisconsin, has a biography of Mark Twain that they sell that's called River Boy. And it was written by William Anderson, who is one of the Wilder scholars who has worked on a lot of the stuff about her. So, and Twain was born in Missouri, and Wilder died in Missouri. So
that's true.
Take what you will for that.
Bravo to Chrissy. You get 10 gold stars for finding that one.
I love Google. No, you know what? All I put in, did Laura Ingalls Wilder ever meet Mark Twain? That was what I put in because I'm like, there's
theoretically possible.
A potential overlap there. Yeah. But
by the time she was writing, he was gone, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Because he died in the first decade of the 1900s or something.
I believe so.
Like that. Yeah. But I mean, there's potential.
They were
for them
on
to
this earth at
paths.
the same time.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, so there's our Laura Ingalls Wilder.
But he lived in California at that point, and she never lived on the West Coast, as far as I know.
No, but her daughter did.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean he wasn't traveling. And she traveled, so maybe they did meet and nobody wrote it down. Anyway.
Well, again, bravo for the deep digging and the continuous thread that is our love for Star Trek and Laura Ingalls Wilder connection.
Oh, yes. We're going to keep this going. Keep it going.
Oh, and this is why the internet is good, because it allows things like this to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, Laura Ingalls Wilder did die 9 years before Star Trek premiered, so she never watched Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't think she would have liked it.
Nope.
And even though Rose Wilder Lane was around, I kind of doubt she watched it.
Oh, I'm sure she. Yeah, I would be even less her jam.
Yeah. You can see her sitting up at the Hoover Institute with all of her friends and put down their copies of Ayn Rand so they can watch an episode of Trek. Yeah. Anyway. Well, when's next season?
Not soon enough.
That's what I'm feeling.
Probably August or September next year, I would assume.
Yeah, actually, that's a point. We don't have to. This one shouldn't be delayed too much in terms of the strikes that were going on.
And it all depends on how Paramount wants to space things out. So I'm hoping it still ends the summer and starts the school year for me, because it really is a nice balm for that time of year that is always tough for my family, because we all go back to school. So it's nice to have some smiles and laughing and heartwarming moments spread in there.
All right.
Well, that's that.
That's that. And Infinite Diversity will be going on a bit of a hiatus. I think we have we have at least one book to read that will
at least, yeah. Well, the Cisco memoir is coming out.
Yeah, and we've got that Discovery novel that came out months ago, but we've been talking about new episodes of Star Trek.
There we go. Come back with that at some point.
You can review the Art of Picard book when it comes out, whenever they keep pushing it back. It looks like February now, but that one's going to be a gorgeous one.
I don't know if there's enough in an art book that translates well enough into a podcast episode, but
it's supposed to have a bunch of behind the scenes stuff. So
we'll see.
Good to know that
we'll
exists.
come up with some bonus information to show back up in your ear holes between now and Discovery season 5.
Yeah, whatever
Spring, that is,
right? Yeah,
early 2024 is all we know.
Yeah,
the vaguest timeline ever.
Well, yeah. What was I going to say?
And we know that we're getting season 2 of Prodigy.
Oh, yeah.
Probably at least 10 episodes next year, possibly 20. Who knows how Netflix is going to do it. And we'll be getting Lower Decks. So there will be more Star Trek next year, and we will be back for it. But Definitely. In the meantime, we're going to take a bit of a break.
Yeah. But, listeners, do the thing where you get the notification in your podcasts. So that you know when we come back, since we're going to be back irregularly. I don't normally say that to people because I'm not one of those like, make sure you like and share and subscribe and blah, blah, blah. But in this case, you might miss it. So get those notifications on.
Once we know when Discovery is coming back, I think we'll definitely want to do a Discovery recap of the first 4 seasons, because I know it's been a while for me for some of those seasons.
Yeah. Ooh, I did a rewatch early last year, and I'm going to do another one before it comes back on. I'm just waiting to get a date so I can so
you can organize it.
So I can organize it and kind of flow right in.
Yeah, same. I'm waiting to, because I do want to rewatch the whole thing. Especially I haven't seen season 3. It's been so long. I haven't seen it since it first came out, and that
wow,
2 years ago.
3 or 2, yeah.
It reads a lot differently when you watch it straight through, and when you watch it right after too.
Well, that was 2020, wasn't it? 3 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should do an episode for each season, maybe leading in.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, especially with Discovery, because they have over arcs for each season. And we should do that. So once we find out when it's coming, assuming we find out with enough lead time.
Yeah,
I think
I figure if it's the end of January and I don't know yet, I'm starting. That's the plan.
That's fair.
Good point. Yeah, and there is Christmas break.
Exactly.
That's time to do that type of thing. For those of us who have to go back to school after.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Some of us just have to keep working the whole time.
And I am incredibly sympathetic to you. Because I did far too much of that. And I know that my life is not normal in that way. So.
Abby, thank you so much for joining us. Where can listeners find you online? What current and upcoming work do you want to mention other than probably your Laura Ingalls Wilder Meets Star Trek podcast that you're absolutely planning?
Well, if that ever gets off the ground, you guys are coming on there with me. So just be ready for that.
I'm there.
Yeah, I'm here.
That's fantastic. The best place to find me personally is probably on Twitter or Blue Sky. I'm really trying to do both. I have a hard time getting even one in some days, but I am trying. And both of those are at Abby M. Sommer, SOMMER. And if you're looking for my podcast, that's called First Flight Pod. We are an Enterprise Rewatch podcast going through every single episode and talking about it, connecting it, dissecting it, loving it. And we are almost done with season 2. So like I said, we have Regeneration coming up really soon after you hear this, and lots of good stuff to wrap up that season. And then we head into like that big change into the Xindi arc. So there's good stuff coming up, and you can find the pod on all of the players that you normally listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for us on YouTube, we are there under the Tricorder Transmissions Network, and we're on all social media at First Flight Pod.
All right. Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not performing Barter by Combat?
Fluff your down.
Combat by barter. Excuse me.
She did fluff her down.
Yeah, I did just now. Yeah. The only place where I might win that is Tetris. I don't know. No, combat. It'd be Smash Brothers. Anyway, right. So in addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with the Szilagys here on the BQN. That's a twice weekly short history podcast I do with my fellow historian husband, Jason. And I'm happy to chat about our shows in the BQN Collective on Facebook. And I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky at the Goddess Livia. That's TheGoddessLivia, where you can see my opinions about Star Trek history and leftist politics. And I said it last week, and I will say it again. Our Jay's primer on why the Middle East is on fire is up on YouTube. So if you go to historywiththeszilagys.org, it's just linked right on the front. And it's there. It's only an hour and 15, so it's actually shorter than this podcast that you just listened to. I'm thinking with how, I don't think Thad's going to quite edit it down to less than an hour 15. So if you're wondering why that is up there. All right. Well, Thad, where can people find you when you're not trying to figure out how to break through a supposedly impenetrable Trinar shield?
Can you have 3 Pinars? Best place to find me is probably still on Twitter. I'm at Tyrannicus. That's Tyranicus. I'm also on Blue Sky and Mastodon with the same handle. And you can hear me on the podcast I do with my friend Carl called License to Spiel. That's license spelled with a C, like the British do it. Where we talk about movies and TV shows. We are currently wrapping up the Jason Bourne series. We just recorded the episode on the last one in the series, and I think we have 2 to release.
Those are Bond adjacent for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the last Bond adjacent. We're at once we're done with Jason Bourne, we're just gonna start doing whatever we want to watch.
And don't forget all of our other great shows here on the BQN. And here's Amy Nelson to tell you all about them.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, and Kelvin. Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. If you're lost in the Delta Quadrant, check out The Captain's Couch, a Star Trek Voyager podcast hosted by Jeremiah sitting on Janeway's Ready Room couch. Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed but should definitely check out, hosted by Mark, Matt, and Laz. Beam Aboard the Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Amy, Joe, Rhea, and Kevin. History with the Szilagys, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissy and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissy and Thad. Test your Trek knowledge with Treksperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Union Federation, covering all things Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Star Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Spill the Tea with What's the Tea, Bev, a Trek current events and fan interview show hosted by Christos. And for our Patreon members, we have The Hive Mind, BQN's monthly roundtable discussion with hosts and listeners. It's Green, a cornucopia of topics hosted by Mark, and Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek, hosted by Amy. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Thank you very much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
And if you'd like to reach out, you can find the network on Twitter and Blue Sky at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. And as you heard, we're not quite sure when you'll next hear from us. We got some books to discuss, and there'll be a lead up to, the next season of Discovery, last season of Discovery. So, set that notification in your podcast player. And until then, we'll bid you peace and long life.
I've got Art Asylum Captain Geordi from from Timeless right here.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Technically, it isn't.
I've got Geordi Bear right here.
Technically, this is an inaccurate figure because he's wearing a regular First Contact era uniform with a First Contact comm badge, but in that episode, he was actually wearing a First Contact uniform, but it was a All Good Things comm badge.
That makes it even cooler for people like us. And this is making terrible podcasting, This is all visual. So just take our word for it. This is all very cool and super nerdy, and none of us left our chairs to reach any of this stuff. So we'll just put that in there.
Oh, no. I if you wanted me to grab anything else with Geordi on it, there's other Geordi things throughout my house, but that was the one that was right here.
I think there's 3 magnets on my refrigerator and one on my dishwasher, honestly.
I've got all the Playmates Geordi figures. Yeah.
That's funny.
There was one year at STOV, I just went through the bin. There's one vendor at STOV. Bin of loose figures. And I went through and found every single Geordi, and then I took a photo of them all standing on my nightstand and called it the crisis of infinite Geordis or something like that.
That's awesome. That is completely awesome.
There was a time Jay's parents were going through the garage and they came across a bin that was full of G.I. Joes and action figures and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we were digging through it with our nephew, who was of the age where he would appreciate those things. And what do I come across? Star Trek figure I don't have. Star Trek figure I don't have. Star Trek figure I don't have. You have the Picard and Crusher from The Big Goodbye action figure.
Oh my god, I had a quest for that.
Oh, those are great. Yeah, because they came in a big box together.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And my best friend in middle school and high school was obsessed with Beverly, and she wanted that figure. I went to everywhere I could drive to, everywhere I could convince somebody to drive me to. It took me, this was you could find it on the internet times. Well, so it took me more time than I'd like to admit, but I found it for her. Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. You just do a good thing for a friend,
But how cool that you just ran across one like that, because those were hard to find.
He didn't even remember buying them. I'm like, okay. Because he just had a habit of buying them when he saw them that he didn't have. Cool. Huzzah, General Motors Union parent household. So that's allows you to buy Star Trek action figures.
There you go.
I'll make it political. There we go.
Well, the last time I was on, didn't we talk about the strike for in 45 minutes?
Probably, yeah.
So
yeah, I think so.
There we go. I found the photo from my Vegas hotel room.
Oh, I love it.
Especially with mutated Geordie in the background.
He is known in our household as Geordie as the funky alien.
Mm-hmm.
That is not every Playmates Geordie. That was just all the ones I got at that con. There is also an All Good Things Geordie, and I think there might be another one. There might be a couple more that I don't know off the top of my head. But there's definitely an All Good Things Geordie.
Mm-hmm. I like how the proportion of the visors is so different in those different figures. Like some of them, it's like sticking out way past the side of his head.
That's just the way that. Yeah, that's just the way the angle looks, because all four of those heads are the same mold, and the same mold for the visors too.
Interesting.
And yes, they do come off, and he has white eyes underneath.
Yeah, I remember that.
I had well, yeah, there's definitely at least one more Geordie, because there isn't the regular uniform Geordie in this photo. There's
it's every variation, but
because there's one of my favorite things about the action figures is that the Playmates Generations figures from the uniforms that they didn't actually use in Generations.
Yep.
But the one in the background there wearing the actual Generations uniform, I had that one when I was a kid, and you can better believe that I lost that visor like within hours of getting it.
Yep. Yep. I remember rescuing the visor from a vacuum cleaner one time, like digging through all the nasty, going, I know you vacuumed it, Mom, I'm sorry. Oh, these are 90s era problems.
Yeah. Good ones to have. I couldn't wear these out anyway. Because I haven't hemmed them yet. I don't know about the ones you got, but
they're way too long.
Way that far.
I wear them up over my belly.
Yeah, you got to hike them up. Yeah. Yeah. So, listeners, if you buy these pajama pants, be prepared to do a hem.
I would honestly say go a size lower than you think you need, because they're stretchy and you don't actually need the size you think you need.
No, you don't. So, Infinite Diversity now brought to you by Pajama Pants Inc. on Amazon. I'll tell you one thing. They weren't $62.95. That I will say.
There you go.
No, I don't remember how much they were, but they were normal pajama pants price, because I didn't even think about it when I ordered them.
Yeah.
It was more like I saw them. I'm like, oh my God, I need to have these pants. Because they are really cool.
Sometimes it happens.
They have the deep space. They have a repeating pattern with the background is just like space with nebulas and stars on it. And then they have the Deep Space Nine logo, the Quarks bar logo, the Alpha Quadrant logo, apparently.
Yeah, a logo that we never saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A top-down view of DS9, a comm badge, the Defiant. They're rad. Oh, a runabout too.
Oh, geez. The care. Okay, first of all, they're between 19 and 25, depending on sizes.
Sure.
The care instructions say hand wash only.
What? I
what
can
planet?
Absolutely
No,
attest
you don't need
to
to
the
do
fact that is not required, because mine would have fallen apart by now if it was.
Mine too. And last but not least, and maybe the most important thing in pajama pants, they do have pockets. You must have pockets.
There's a whole podcast I would send your friends to about pockets. It's called Articles of Interest by Avery Trufelman. It does a deep dive into the history of a piece of clothing. There's one about pockets that will absolutely blow your mind. I also recommend the one about jeans, and they did a whole season on like Ivy and like the preppiness being a type of fashion that is now 100% American. It's totally cool. But if you want to hear about pockets, that's where you go listen. Super fun.
What's it called?
Articles of Interest.
Articles of Interest. All right. Well, I'm adding that to the list.
Did they ever talk
about the history of the cod piece?
No, not yet.
Oh, that'll be a fun one.
I don't think I'd want to stick anything in a pocket on a cod piece.
Well, actually, that depends.
Oh, on how you define pocket.
I suppose you could say the codpiece is itself a pocket for a certain thing.
All right, so maybe we should just bring it back to we're talking about.
That's going to be like, okay, so when he's editing this, he's going to be like, hey, we'll start here and we end here, and that all goes at the end.
What I can tell is we're 24 minutes in, and maybe 2 of them are going to make it to the podcast.
Yeah, that's all right.
Well, if you ever listen to my podcast, there's a bunch of me and Chris at the end of every one doing stuff like this, which is silly, but people are like, oh, we love that.
This one might just end up having 20 minutes of outtakes in the end, too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just plunk it all at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here, I'll bring it back. Starfleet Academy, do you think they had uniform pajamas?
I'm sure they did.
And they were blue.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah,
there you
they
go.
have bright blue. If they have uniform underwear and tank tops, they've got pajamas. Well,
yep.
Aren't Culber and Stamets in the red pajamas in Discovery hundreds of years later? Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that they would have had pajamas back then too.
Yeah,
those could have been like couples pajamas that Culber and Stamets had, rather than like Starfleet issues.
They had combat. They had
deltas.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
Or deltas. Right. Yeah, excuse me.
Ooh, this is why my daughter goes, oh, you're going to laugh when you record with that and Chrissy.